Hello, my name is Heléna Star. I am live from the W London to speak with Mixmag and Coco María, who's at the W Amsterdam, to discuss the challenges she has faced in the music industry. This is a part of the continuing What She Said series, a partnership brought to you by Mixmag and W Hotels. Hello to Coco María, all the way over at the W Amsterdam. How are you doing today?
Hi, hello, really nice to meet you. I am very well because today it's sunny in Amsterdam, so it's a treat.
And before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am Coco María. My name is Ana Lucia actually, and I am from Mexico. I have lived the last 12 years in Europe, and I am a DJ and radio host. That's me at the moment.
When did you move to Amsterdam, and what were your first impressions of the city?
The thing is, I already knew Amsterdam a little bit before. I moved here because of my boyfriend, my partner. And he's also into music, so we met actually at ADE a few years ago, and I was in Berlin. So I used to come every month to Holland, and I had experienced the amazing musical environment of Amsterdam, the record stores, the super venues. I like that Amsterdam is very well located, I think. It's a place where there's a lot of opportunities.
And Amsterdam is a melting pot of nationalities. Has that been inspiring for you?
Definitely has been inspiring. Also because first, before coming to Holland, I thought it was not so diverse. And when I arrived, I realized I was wrong. There's this super big and interesting community from Suriname, from Indonesia, and a lot of expats also. A lot of people from abroad living here and doing interesting things. I also think, for example, the music I like playing, what it's called the world music, organic music, it's still not, it doesn't have such a big public as, let's say, techno or disco, but there is a few people that are really interested, and I think because Amsterdam is a melting pot, we can attract a lot of people to this bubble.
And what gives you the drive to push out the South American sounds you both play and are now producing? Why is it important that this is introduced to a global audience?
I like to push the South American sound because I think for many years people have an idea of what is Latin American. I think I can help to make people know that there's more than the first impressions of Latin America, and that it's a very diverse and very interesting place. And also I think the music from Latin America is most part of the music I like is very sunny, very joyful music that can really make a difference on people's daily lives. So I like that. I like to share that.
Speaking on vulnerability and some honesty too, what have been the biggest fears you've had to face as a woman in the industry, and how have you been able to overcome it or work through them?
So I grew up without feminine role models who were doing what I wanted to do. So there was this fear, there is sometimes this fear about if I reach a certain age, am I then not going to be, booked, or I'm not going to have so much work. But it's a topic I discuss a lot with friends, and then I realized that maybe there's no point on fearing it, and that maybe I can become the role model of younger girls in the future. And also, one thing that is not so much of a fear, but is something I should not forget, is that sometimes in some places, in some environments, some people are not so used to working with a woman, and I feel sometimes I have to set up my limits. And a clear example sometimes happens that I'm in a venue and the sound engineers, they are not taking me so seriously, and then I have to then change my tone, change the way I'm asking for things, and that should not be an issue, right? They should take care of I'm as important as the other male DJ, for example. It's just an example of a situation where I was a bit confused, like why do I have to repeat so many times that I need this equipment? And then, yeah, after a few discussions, they realized, oh, we are not used to working with a woman or something like this. Yeah, but that's changing. It's not, doesn't happen so often in my experience.
We've heard a lot about allyship over the last few years since the rise of minority-led movements. What are some good examples of allyship that you've witnessed that you thought were really great?
For me, one very important platform was Worldwide FM, the radio station where I work. So I felt like I'm not alone. I really felt that the other artists or creatives really were able to show more vulnerability. And that's why groups like Ladies Music Pop that I mentioned earlier or ARC could be born, because of that awareness of we need really to talk. We need to be more open about about our mental health. So I think mental health has been an issue that I'm very happy is being more, there's more discussions about it, more talking about it, about the mental health of artists and people who work in the music industry.
And have you faced any challenges or noticed anything that has been challenging for you to pursue a career in music as a Latina woman back home and here in Europe too?
Yeah, I have to say that the biggest challenge is being myself. You know, trying to overcome insecurities or overcome ideas that I cannot do this or I cannot do that, or I should first wait to get this. I feel that took a while. Another challenge is normal things like how to understand my value, how to, let's say, charge the right fee, how to make myself respect in a world where I think a lot of people are hustling. That's the biggest challenge, to understand my value and to respect my own work.
What other solutions have you felt had helped you with those challenges?
Talking to other women, communicating, and there's a more and more awareness about the work of female artists, right? And a lot of women are doing really great work on raising awareness. For example, there is the Ladies Music Pub from London. People meeting girls like that empower each other, that give tips. I think that's it. Meeting other women, talking, communicating, being a bit vulnerable, and opening up, and understanding that we are not alone in this music world, and that there's a lot of other artists that have the same questions, the same doubts, sometimes the same insecurities, the same challenges. And I think when we realize that we can talk about it, it makes things much easier.
That's amazing. And you mentioned the Ladies Music Pub. Are there any other communities that you have found to be really helpful or inspiring, or that you've enjoyed to work with?
Yeah, definitely this group of people. There is also the ARC community in London, which is a relatively new group created by Ruby, a friend, Ruby Savage, and she enables platforms and meetups to talk about creative processes and fears, dreams, and to cheer each other up. And I think that's a very great platform and group. So I have to say those two are at the moment my most important meetups.
Like you said, things are changing, things are moving forward. Do you feel that we are really pushing towards that equality? And how does it make you feel at the moment?
Yeah, I feel at the moment, of course, it's just starting. And sometimes seems like we are sending way too many reminders. Sometimes I feel from some venues of some organizers, it's just tokenism. They're just using it as an excuse to, Female Week or something, and then at the end it's not really so transparent. But I think it's okay to talk as much as possible about this topic, because we are just at the beginning of changing the way women's work is perceived. You know, I'm thinking a lot about my students, about the kids I was teaching, which were from kindergarten up to teenage, like high school. So I often think about those students who are now 20 and thinking, oh wow, they grow up in a different world where women can be DJs, women are working as sound engineers, women can have this job, women can say this, no, women don't have to be at home, or in Mexico, no. For example, women don't have to stay at home. So I think if we keep bringing up this topic and also creating more platforms for different role models for those younger girls, I think that's why it's worth to keep doing this, but we are not there yet, no.
And what do you think would be the most influential piece of advice you could give for these aspiring women who want to DJ?
If you feel the tickle of doing something, you should not wait for someone's approval or someone's green light to go for it, and you should just follow that. Not just like, oh, follow your dreams, but in a way to not hesitate that because you have a desire, that don't doubt that don't wait for validation for that wish or to accomplish something, and also to not wait until it's perfect. I think a lot of the things we get really good at, we develop this quality in the process or on the way. So I will say, if you want to start a project or learn something, you should start. You should go for it, and then later on, you can tune it.
And you mentioned earlier about situations that you had come across, including maybe sound guys looking at you or treating you in a different way. How do you think we, not just women, but people, can start to facilitate that change?
I think one way to facilitate this change is to be aware, to observe these situations when they happen, and to realize this is not right, no, or whatever situation it's uncomfortable, to understand it's not right. It's already a first step. Not to understand, oh, no, there's no reason why they should treat me like that. And the next step, I would say, is to communicate to someone who can make a difference. For example, to talk to the promoter and to approach them, to communicate this, to talk about it.
Yeah, education.
Yeah, education, exactly. It's not going to change what happened already, but probably next time they have an event with a woman, they will think about that conversation they just had. And then it will take a while, right? But I think that's it, communication.
That's good. And that's where we finish. Thank you so much. A lovely conversation.
Thank you. It was really nice.
Ayer estaba triste, pero hoy estoy contenta.